everyone. My name is Rose Simpson. I'm a librarian at the New Haven Free Public Library, and welcome to Co-Create. We are here with our creative in residence, Nadine Nelson, and today's special guest is Karaine Smith-Holness. Would you two like to introduce yourselves?
Yes, hi, I am Nadine Nelson. I am the chef, owner, and educator of Global Local Gourmet. It is an interactive culinary event company, and we specialize in interactive culinary events and experiential Epicurean events. I'm also a food artist and a multidisciplinary artist. And right now, today, on Co-Create, I'm doing something very mundane and preparing for my first show in over a year where I interact with people in public. It's going to be in Long Island City. It's going to be with a gallery called Flux Factory, and doing art intervention or installation that's called Harvest Mandalas, which I first got commissioned to do with Art Space at the Ely House of Contemporary Art on Trumbull Street. So I'm really excited to do that. It's an art activation that I do and I adapt in many different places. It's something that's really fun. We make mandalas out of food that otherwise would be composted or thrown away. And it's all about teaching people about sustainability, interconnectedness, regeneration, permaculture, but like through the act of making mandalas. And, it's a very spiritual thing. So my art is not just about engaging or what something looks like, because it will look like a mandala made with whole fruit or food, and then there will be edible aspects that people will be able to do. But I also set up different kind of activities. And so one is a scent station. It's a wellness station. And so I'm just right now wiping off my essential oils so they are clean. And I'm going to New York for my site visits a week beforehand. I usually like to do it sooner, but they sent me videos and we've talked and it's been really great. So I'm setting up my stuff so on Friday I can pick up my fabric, and I'm going to show you all the different components of different things that I do. So how do I know Kay? I know Kay when I moved back to New Haven 10 years ago from Boston. I was doing food stuff, and I think I know, each other from Facebook, but, she knows my family. She's Jamaican, and when you're Jamaican in a small place, then you know each other, but she knows like my uncle, and she is such a pleasure to know. She's a very great connector. She loves her culture and showcasing her culture. So I've had the pleasure of working with her slightly. Oftentimes I am traveling during Caribbean American Month, which is in June. But hopefully, maybe we'll talk about that today, because I have to hand in my stuff to Rose tomorrow about doing that class that I told you about a long time ago for June, okay, with the library, Jamaican cooking class. So we can talk about that now. So I know Kay from her hair shop. My daughter has gotten her hair done there. I know her from being the founder of the Caribbean American Association. I know her from starting the first Caribbean Restaurant Week and just being a Renaissance woman. She loves to craft. She's a great crafter. And obviously doing hair is very creative. And she loves different aesthetics and all that kind of stuff. So I'll allow her to explain herself for herself more than that. But thank you for being on here.
And I pronounced your name wrong, didn't I? I'm sorry about that.
Oh, that's fine. Thank you, Nadine. I mean, after all of that, I don't need to introduce myself. But I am Karaine Smith-Holness, affectionately known as Kay. I am a hairstylist. I am a trip organizer, I am.
Forgot about that.
Oh, no, that's fine. I guess we was gonna call it head cook and bottle wash for a lot of things. I do a lot of things. I love being in a lot of things. As my mother would say, I'm an only child. And so I love company. And so because I love company, I love to do things. So yeah, I guess that's it. So Nadine invited me on today to do my craft. And I was like, Nadine, what am I gonna craft? End of my work day. And so I just grabbed a few things. And I guess by talking, we will see what can come out of this, because there is no such thing as bad anything. It's just art and it's an interpretation. So yeah, happy to be here.
Okay. So what are you working on right now? I said what I was working on. So what are you working on?
What am I working on? I'm working on something that Nadine says, you need to be here today. And so I decided that I was gonna, bossy Nadine. I picked up this, look at this.
My daughter is laughing that you called me bossy. It's all right though.
It's a truth. Like she was just like to show up. So here I am with my canvas, and I have some. So last year I did a lot of wreaths and stuff. So I don't throw away anything, and so I have my leaves and so on and so forth. So I think I'm gonna try to make something beautiful from the leaves and some of the flowers that I have. I am in a new project in my salon where, due to COVID, I decided that a part of air cleaning would to incorporate a lot more plants in the salon to keep the air clean. And and it's also beautiful, and I try to have unusual plants. So my clients ask, what is this? And how we take care of this. And so I guess I'm in the theme of flowers. So that's what I'm working on today. What else am I working on? As the president of the Jamaican American Connection, we are working on our gala for September that got nicked last year. I am also working on the Caribbean Heritage Festival, which is June 27th. What else am I working on? And then we have some other.
What day is June 27th? A Sunday?
Uh-huh. So the last Sunday in June. And so that's what I'm working on now. And still be a mom in the meantime, and a wife.
Okay. Of course. You're I don't know if you're Superwoman, but you're very close. And can you tell people where can you talk a little bit about the your festival? Is that going to be at
It's gonna be at Gulf Street Park.
Gulf Street Park?
I did the Gale Field, the Gale Park.
Mm-hmm.
It's across from Hill House High School. So that's gonna be, because we weren't really sure what was gonna happen. We try to keep it as low key as possible. So we're gonna have food trucks. We're gonna try to have some entertainment. We definitely don't have music, and we're gonna still try to have some entertainment and so on and so forth. So that's what we're doing. We're just in the beginning stages of planning that.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. And what time is that, Kay?
1 to about 7 p.m.
Okay.
So normally we try to have like a rolling procession. We won't have that this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what I love, about Kay is that a lot of people feel like Jamaicans are only about Jamaicans, but Kay has an association, and even though Jamaicans are one of the best islands in the Caribbean, if not the best island, it's like we include other people, and Kay includes other islands. And I think that is a really good thing, because people take for granted that they think that the islands are all the same, and they're not the same. They're very different, music wise, you know, food
Food-wise.
wise, huh?
I say food wise.
Yeah, talk wise, like the accent, dance wise, like they all have their own sense of uniqueness, and so that's why it's great to, you know, visit those countries. I've visited around 7 Caribbean islands, and of course Jamaica is my favorite, and Puerto Rico is my second favorite. And like for different reasons, people are gonna have different reasons, because like Puerto Rico is not necessarily the prettiest Caribbean island, but I really like it culturally, and I love going to Old San Juan, and I like the music, I like the connection to Africa. But you know, there's so many things that are special about you know, the islands, where it's like Saint Martin being like um having um two different sides, being Dutch and French, you know, or going to St. Bart's, which is very different as a Caribbean island. They all have their own their own flavor.
Right.
So
And the thing about being, I guess
thank you.
Jamaicans have always felt, even though we're a little island,
You can bring the thing down,
I
the other
guess,
part.
um, what do you call it?
Pardon, Kay, I didn't hear you.
You can't hear me?
No, I didn't hear what you just said, the last part.
Oh, okay. And I'm just saying, even though Jamaica is such a small island, I think part of our brazenness and our boldness is we're little but we tell. We totally believe that there's nothing that we can't do. And if we're going to do it, we have to do it exceptionally well. And,
Right.
and I think that is a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, and you know, like it's so interesting because everywhere I've ever been in the world, you know, they're Jamaicans, and it's so weird because like I went to Paris and I studied art and design. And the first week that I was there for like 6 weeks. And the first week that I was there, I did not speak English. And it was so frustrating. I cried a bunch of times because it takes, like Americans, we can be so mean. Huh?
You didn't speak English or you didn't speak French?
What'd you say, okay?
I said you didn't speak English or didn't French?
No, I didn't speak English for the first week, you know? So, you know, like you have to, like, there I am there for the first time. I have to acclimate. I have to get myself into a cab. I had to find my apartment, which was in the back of another apartment. And thank the Lord that the taxi driver was so nice that he made sure that he got this concierge, that he brought my bag up, all this kind of stuff, because I didn't know what, it just would have been a hot mess. And I had to get a pedicure. That was a whole thing. I had to, you know, change my money. I had to figure out the metro. I had to figure out going to class. You know, it was just all this stuff. And your brain is just like, oh my God, I just can't take it anymore. And I remember, huh? What'd you say, Kay? Well, I went to this really interesting, it was just when cell phones were becoming popular. Like I had a Palm Pilot. Remember a Palm Pilot? And a Palm Pilot was just like, oh, that was like the jam, like if you had a Palm Pilot. But I don't think that you really had, I couldn't have like internet everywhere, you know? Like I don't think you could have that, you know? So it wasn't like, so I had to have like really good guidebooks. I remember really good ones with pictures, and I had one that had really interesting walks and showed you where to go. I like to go to the out of the way kind of places. So it was an out of the way, really nice flea market that had like beautiful leather luggage and nice fabric and, you know, interesting antiques and, you know, one of a kind things. So I'm finding my way out there and I see this beautiful dread walking down the street, but then he's speaking patois. So I just grab his arm. I'm like, I don't know who you are, but I haven't spoke English in a week and you're Jamaican and I'm not gonna let go for a minute. So he was a musician with the Jamaica All-Stars. You remember the Jamaica All-Stars? Jamaica All-Stars. So this old group, and they travel, I think that they're mostly, like in Europe they have these big reggae concerts. And so I saw Shaggy in Paris. No, not Shaggy, Shaggy. I saw Sanchez better. Can you imagine seeing Sanchez? Sanchez is a romantic cover singer, if anyone's listening. And he does covers.
I saw him at the Coliseum.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, do people remember the Coliseum, people? Do you guys remember the Coliseum?
New Haven Coliseum?
Yeah.
Yeah. I went there when I was a kid, like saw the circus and stuff.
Okay. I saw the circus, the WWE, but the different concerts and stuff. So yeah, so I met him and it was great because I could go to different concerts for free. And I got to speak English, and he introduced me to a bunch of different people, and it was great. But the reason why I said that was just that anywhere that I've ever gone, doesn't matter if it's like Mexico or anywhere, like I've met Jamaicans, and we're very adventurous people. So what am I doing right now? This is my fabric that I'm using for my mandalas. It's like kind of like paisley and a beautiful print. I got them from EchoWorks. I'm going to use them again for a picnic that we're having in June. And EchoWorks is it's a reuse center, and it used to be in New Haven on State Street, and they moved to North Haven because it is they have a bigger space, and they get things that people throw away, or they get, they don't buy anything. Things are donated. They're a nonprofit, but it's for artists, creatives, teachers to be able to get supplies to do different projects. And so I like to use for the also for the picnic event that we're going to have at the Party Morris House, which is around Lighthouse. I'm going to make some lawn coverings, and I'm going to try and make some pillows. And so my friend Ella from Tiny Forest is going to help me do that. So I'm trying to stretch myself in the domestic arts. And Kay, like, tell us about some of the things that you...
Hold on. Just give me 1 second. I just need to give somebody their mangoes.
Okay. So other things that Kay does is, one of the important things about being an immigrant is feeling tied to your culture through food. And so I don't know where she got them from. They come straight from Jamaica or they come from Florida, but I assume that they come from Jamaica.
Straight from Jamaica. They took Delta.
Okay, straight from Jamaica. So you know how people in the winter time, when it's citrus season, and you have that on, at least I did, and your church or your 4-H club or the Girl Scouts or something, some like organization that you buy citrus and it comes from Florida, and you're like, you have these amazing oranges and grapefruits. So she does the same thing with mangoes. So there are, I don't even know how many different 100 varieties of mangoes, but there's particular varieties in which Jamaicans like. We can talk about how people eat mangoes, and then why I call myself Jamaican, and I'll talk about that through how you eat a mango and how I eat a mango as a Jamaican. But she gets boxes of mangoes, and then people get them. Also, her mother-in-law has a restaurant in Westville that has been there for how long? And what's the name of the restaurant? Because I just go there, so I don't. It's terrible. What's the name of your mother-in-law's restaurant?
Tropical Delights.
Tropical Delights. So it's over by Southern. And how long has it been there for? It's been there for over 30 years. Huh?
Yeah, 30 years.
Yeah, it's been there for over 30 years. So you know that, for a Jamaican restaurant, that's an institution. And you understand that, like the stereotypes about Jamaican restaurants and stuff like that. So for her to be there for over 30 years, she has to be consistently good. I call her Mama Yvonne. And Mama Yvonne.
No, that's my mom.
I know, but I'm just saying that because.
So my mother and my mother-in-law sometimes are in the restaurant together. But it's owned by my mother-in-law. Her name is Pauline, and then most of the people calls her mom. So she has been in business for so long, she has had several babies that has grown up eating, like the pregnancies, whether it was a patty pregnancy, an oxtail pregnancy, a curry chicken pregnancy. She has all these babies and grandbabies. So yeah, so it's like an institution here in
So all right, so I didn't know Yvonne was your mom. Okay, so Kay's mom, she does value-added products, and like one of them is that I make chai in the morning, and then all the rage, especially since of COVID, is Irish moss. But if you're Jamaican and old school Jamaican, you've been using Irish moss like your whole life, like either to make, you make punches or different drinks that you blend it up, but it's very good for your immunity. It's a seaweed, and different cultures use it in different things, like for it's kind of gelatinous. And so people all around the world, that if you're by the water and you can cultivate it, they use it in things. I love it. Do you see, like, not throwing away your greenery from your different flowers that you use? And so I use flowers to make like fascinators, head crowns. And that's a wonderful way to recycle and do something that is three-dimensional too, not just two-dimensional.
Right.
I like texture. I like that.
I do too. So yeah, so as I'm sitting here with you, I'm doing this and thinking about where in the salon I'm gonna put it.
So when are you planning? Kay also said she plans trips. So are you, like, how has, why don't you talk to people about how, COVID has affected your life, and what did you do to transform your business? Because you had to do a lot because of being a hairdresser and the different regulations, and, so talk about your adaptability and, like applying your resilience and applying for PPP loans, and then also going to the state house and all that kind of stuff. Because, creatives have to advocate for themselves, and it's important for people to understand those things, that we just don't, make things that are beautiful and that people enjoy, that we also have to advocate for ourselves. Like today, like from the Arts Council, I got a letter about advocating, making sure that money is set aside for artists, because, artists, creatives, people in hospitality, all of that, like we provide so much joy to people, and kind of got the short end of the stick in regard to PPE and support and help during a time when a lot of people lost work and could not go to work because of the CDC guidelines. So why don't you talk about that, Kay?
Well, when COVID shut us down, at first we never thought we would ever be shut down as hairdressers, because we always thought that we were essential workers. Look good, feel good, like, how you mean we're not essential? We have always thought we were essential, And so after we had to pick ourselves up off the ground like everybody else, then you had to just be creative, right? So, the distancing, I work by myself. I've been a business owner for 27 years here in New Haven. And when I moved to this new location, I was over by Fitch and Blake Street before. But when I moved over to this location, I knew I did not want to work with anyone. I wanted to be in a space by myself. And so it worked out for me in that way because I didn't have to worry about anyone else but myself and my clients. And so the first round PPP, that was not available to us because it didn't make sense that you're a small business with 500 employees. But anyway, I just never look at it as a small business. You say small business, you're thinking like, well, 50 people the most. You're going to hundreds now. That's a big business, right?
Yeah, that's a big business because, you know, like a lot of people don't understand, like one of the things that people, and so even though I'm a creative, I'm trying to explain some business concepts to people that they can understand, is that when you're paying someone $15 an hour, which I totally think is like, you know, beyond the bare minimum that everyone in that, who just said that they're paying people $25 an hour? There's a company that just said that they're, huh?
I think Bank of America.
I know somewhere, something else, someone else, but maybe Bank of America too. But it was something else that I think a lot of us use, and I was really happy to see that because when you're looking at $15, you're looking at $10, or you're looking at, you know, like whatever, you also have to look at your benefits. And so the benefits that people get, you know, like if you have a job that gives you full health insurance and then also gives you dental, that is amazing because so many people stopped giving dental over 20 years ago. So if you give, yeah, like no one, I mean, it's like you're like a very stable kind of situation when you give dental. Most people don't give dental.
See, I didn't know that because, you know,
Yeah.
I guess I take that for granted because, you know, I'm on my husband's insurance. Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
As so many hairdressers don't have insurance because they're creatives and they work for themselves.
Right. And that the amount of money that it is to have insurance, it doesn't outweigh, like, you know, like usually you're only going to, depending how old you are, you're only going to the doctor once or twice a year for your, you know, examination. And so for a lot of people, it doesn't make sense that if you have to pay, you know, $300, $700 a month in health insurance and you're not sick, it's just not financially affordable or, you know, responsible for you to be able to, you know, do that. And some people are like, well, it's not responsible not to have insurance, but you know, if you have to pay $700, which in some places for some people that might be their rent, you know, like, I mean, not here in Connecticut, you know, it might be someone's rent if you're living with someone, but so yeah. So I am looking through because I don't want to bring anything that I don't have to bring. And so I set up these different tables. So I have these coloring mandala books. So I'm deciding like what I'm going to be bringing and just trying to be organized. And then afterwards, I will do, Kay, I have cards if you want me to read your card for you.
Oh, you go right ahead.
Huh?
My card. What you want?
Okay. And then I'm gonna do some hand massage and practice leading this like for next week because I haven't really been around people and done a public program in person for a year and a half basically. So it's gonna be interesting.
Okay, what do you think?
I love ferns. I love ferns.
Okay, so that's it where that is concerned.
All right, I have the flower cards because it's spring. It's a time for flowers. It's a time to blossom. Whatever you want. Kay, you want to look at the cards a little bit so you can see them?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right, so I'm going to shuffle them.
Okay.
And then put your energy into the cards. Put the flowers down for 2 seconds. Put your energy into the cards. And tell me when to stop. All right. And then do you want me to do top, bottom, or middle?
Middle.
I knew you were going to say that. You got sweet pea, pleasures.
Aha!
So why do you think you got that? You don't know?
Yeah, you tell me.
I'm not a mind reader. I tell people I just facilitate a message, and then you, I mean, I don't know. You seem like you have a lot of pleasure, but maybe you need more. I don't know.
I just like to, like, I don't know, be happy.
Do you feel like you need more pleasure? Do you feel like
We can all use more pleasure, you know, but it all depends on what kind of pleasure we're talking about. But we're gonna keep rated. I don't know. I think like now, I guess I'm trying to be happier in my space because life is so rough for so many, and so being responsible for the energy that comes, being responsible for the energy that's in the salon, and how I deal with my clients when they come in. So most of it is to make, you know, to please people, make sure that they're happy. So yeah.
so if you're not pleased, then it's hard. I feel like I tell people that, you know, especially when I'm doing events, I need time to recoup and everything because as you said, like you're serving people and my energy dictates, like I like to be on time if I can, because I don't, when I'm not on time, I'm like, so like, you know, and I want to be calm and collected. So I impart that to my clients.
Correct.
So right now I'm massaging my hands and I'm doing acupressure, and your hands, your feet, and your ears all correspond with different parts of your body. And then I have these sheets that are laminated that I usually bring with me. And so here's like Japanese massage, and each part of the hand corresponds with something. So your thumb is worry, your index finger is fear, your middle finger is anger, go figure, your ring finger is sadness, and your pinky is self-esteem. And then and so they also correspond, like I said, with different parts of your body. So down the side of your hand is your belly button, your finger is nervousness, your heart, and your small intestine. Your ring finger is sadness, lungs, and your colon. Your middle finger is anger, liver, and your gallbladder. Your index finger is your fear, kidney, and bladder. And your thumb is worries, your stomach, and spleen. So the thumb, when you massage it, it's good for reducing anxiety and fighting against worrisome thoughts. Your index finger is where you can conquer feelings of fear. Your middle finger, when you're feeling really angry, to calm yourself down. Your little finger, anxiety, and when you need to feel confident. And so I like to show people these things, like we're going to be in a garden, and so part of like my activations is to disarm people, to feel comfortable, to be open to new things. And especially since, you know, people are coming out for the first time, I think that some of these wellness activities and like the scents and, you know, like being around each other, but being around beauty and food and so all of that. But, you know, a lot of stuff that I do is rooted in self-care. Food is a catalyst to get people there, but then also to engage in wellness activities. And these wellness activities support people making healthier, food choices and being open to those things. 'Cause a lot of people are not open to necessarily like, oh, like vegetables, this is so great. No, it's going to be great. And you're going to taste those things. It's going to be wonderful. So, and I like doing ear massage. So I'm going to massage my ears because I've been feeling like I need to calm myself down. And it's one of those things that I love. You can go online and then see like which parts of your ear correspond with different parts of your body. But, acupuncture, acupressure, and acupuncture is you go to an acupuncturist and they put needles and those things that help with backache or other things. But acupressure helps in calming you down and making you feel good.
This is true.
I feel.
No, it does. And this is what I was saying to you, also the top of the head.
Yeah.
The base of your neck.
Yeah.
Those things can calm you totally down.
Yeah. So this morning I started with EFT. And so like she's saying about the top of your head, like EFT is a set of different phrases that you say and you work on your meridian points, your chest, then under your arm, and then you keep on doing it. But I love massaging my scalp and when you have African American hair, you usually grease your scalp, and that feels so good too. Grease your scalp, put oil on your scalp, nice essential oils, and then massage that all in. It makes you so relaxed.
As a stylist here, I will say we will use oil for African American women. Use oils that will be absorbed versus sitting on top of our hair or on our scalp, unless you wash your hair.
So why don't you talk about? I know. So why don't you talk about what oils people should use?
Well, I'm not an advocate for oiling the scalp at all, because I've seen where it all depends on how often you cleanse, right? And so if you're cleansing every 2 weeks or longer, then you don't want oils on your scalp because it creates buildup. Buildup then creates like a debris on your scalp, which sometimes people will say is dandruff, but it's not, because the cells, your skin sheds dirt in the air, all of these different things, and it just sits on your scalp. And so I'm really actually I'm not an advocate of that. If you put grease on your hair, it will eventually go to your scalp, because the scalp is warm. So it will run down the hair and get to the scalp. So yeah. So that's why. For me personally and my clients.
Well, you heard it from Kay. And I don't necessarily use grease. I actually mix oil.
Right.
And I use
Vaseline is not one of them that she
Yeah, because Vaseline is not really actually real. It's made out of petroleum. Yeah. And it just, she said, that sits on your skin. It seals your skin, but it doesn't go into your skin. And so so I use avocado oil, or I use grapeseed oil or extra virgin olive oil, because those are things that you can eat and they're good for your, they're good for your skin. And but you can eat them. So like there's some, oils that she's saying, like, people use Vaseline and they put them on your feet or on your lips, and that's not actually moisturizing it. It's just covering it up.
And grease is not moisture. Grease is grease. It's not moisture. And a lot of people moisture comes from the foods and the amount of water we drink and how often we go to the bathroom. Number 2. So yeah.
So to that end, like if people are wondering about that, like, I'm an advocate for trying to drink half your weight in water, because it helps with maintaining your weight and keeping yourself hydrated. And a lot of times when we think that we're hungry, we're actually really thirsty. And like non-lubricated, because especially as you get older and you get inflammation, it's good to drink water and, you know, not caffeine that could add to inflammation and stuff like that. So,
and it also helps with the moisture, moisture of your skin and your scalp skin, because your scalp is an extension of your skin. So if you
yeah,
are on your scalp, 10 chances to 1, you're drying the skin.
yeah. I was looking at
Wait, you didn't finish reading my thing, So then we like pleasure. After that, what? That's it?
yeah, that's it. I'll do another set of cards if you want to.
I was curious. I thought I was gonna get all these things, girl.
No, I like the short and sweet readings, because that's all we need. We don't really need a long drawn out book. I'll do that one too. I'll do a goddess card for you.
I was just curious. I was like, pleasure. Okay.
All right. All right. I'll do a goddess card if I have them down here, and I think I do. All right. So these are our body, ourselves affirmation cards. So let me do those. Those are very easy. Tell me when to stop, sweetheart.
Top.
And then top, bottom, and middle.
Top.
Okay. The only approval I'll ever need is mine.
Yes.
I think that you knew that, but that's a verification.
Yes. Look.
All right. Okay. All right. Let me get you your other card. If there's anyone on that would like to ask any questions or would like to have a card reading, I'm happy to do it for you.
I see we have someone attending the Zoom program. If you'd like, I can turn audio on for you so you can speak with us. Just like raise your hand if you want me to turn that on.
All right, so Kay, I have a goddess card. These are by Doreen Virtue. And the other 2 card decks that I just pulled from are cards that I made. All right, so tell me when to stop, sweetheart. Stop. All right, top, bottom, middle.
Bottom.
All right. Schemet, strong. You are stronger than you think you are, and your strength assures a happy outcome. And then let me read you. These cards have they have a long message in that. So. Okay, you're stronger than you think you are, and your strength assures a happy outcome. Message from Schemet. See yourself as strong and victorious. Don't complain about anything. Don't blame anyone or any condition. You're the embodiment of strength, not victimhood. As you rise above the old tendencies and see yourself with a new light, a beautiful feminine strength, your life will automatically shift in miraculous ways. You attract new opportunities, forms of abundance, and relationships to help you manifest your highest potential. Being strong means seeing yourself in the most favorable light you can imagine. Be real, allow yourself to feel genuine emotions, but most of all, be strong. Various meanings of this card. Don't underestimate yourself. Don't yield to pressure.
Never.
Or temptation. Avoid complaining or indulging in negative thinking. Engage in weight training exercises to make your body stronger. That's what it said. Sorry. Schemet. This Egyptian sun goddess is a fiery protector who's married to Egyptian deity Pita. Her name means strong and mighty. Schemet is connected with lions, symbolizing her fiercely protective nature, and sometimes appears with a lion's head and a human woman's body. Call about Schemet to shore up your strength and power.
Nice.
So why do you feel like you received that?
With the exception of the weight training and all of that I really struggle with, consistency and going to the gym, I felt that was kind of like they were like looking into me. Because, you know, I'm still trying to find a motivation to work out. Everything else I got, I'm still looking for the motivation to work out, you know, but yeah.
Are you all the motivation that you need?
If I have all the motivation that I need?
Are you all the motivation that you need?
Oh, I am. And I know that it starts and ends with me. I know that. But girl, lazy when it come on to going to the gym. Hate it. Always did. Hated working out. But I got to.
Do you like now that it's summertime or springtime? Well, today it felt like straight up summer. Do you feel like you can work it outside or go for walks or?
Oh, it's just straight up laziness on my part. Always did. I never. Working out was never one of my things. But I'm, you know, like, but so I just felt like that was kind of like, dang, they went deep into me, knowing that that's one of my weaknesses. Everything else I'm fine with. I know there's nothing that I cannot do. I don't necessarily wait for approval for a lot of stuff. And once I see it, I usually achieve it. So yeah, so that was on point. I mean, everything was on point. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. Of course. I like it.
Although one just
I've been getting into, I brought stuff to sketch too. I've been getting into flowers. I love flowers. Here's a floral coloring book. And I like to bring these coloring books for people who don't really want to interact, but they do want to participate, and they can take home the coloring page and do it. But coloring is a form of meditation.
crafting.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know why I end up, people think that pink is my favorite color.
Is it?
I love anything bright, girl. That means all things are my favorite color. I don't have a favorite. I love bright. Pink tend to be the one that's brighter. So I gravitate towards that. Okay, I'm gonna stop after I put this one in. So this is my first craft that I did in the salon.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Everything else that I was looking at, it was like I needed to do it. So if I painted something, well, you know. But this is the first time I came in with no thought process as to what I wanted to do. And as I'm talking to you, that I'm able to just do something random with really and truly no thought. And I'm liking what I see.
Hmm.
You? I think this is it. What do you get your guess think? I think this is it. I mean, if I'd given it thought, I probably would have painted the canvas, you know, so it would have a different background. But I think it's beautiful.
I think it's beautiful too. Is it finished, or are you gonna do all of it, or no?
No, I wasn't gonna do all of it, but I think I need to paint this. So it's gonna be very interesting trying to paint it after the fact.
Or you could also put like an inspirational saying or something nice there instead.
Yeah, you could do like a poetry collage.
Yeah, collage would look nice too.
Well, thank you. See, and I knew.
See, that's what co-create is all about. See, that's what happens. Synergy.
That's right. So thank you, Rose. Get my little cricket to work. Yes, I think this is it for me where this is concerned, and then get to work. Thank you.
These are fun. I love this. So tell us about the different crafts that you do. You make your wreaths. What else?
I made my
And what else? What are some of the things that you want to do?
So when you do see me craft, it's because I'm in a place where I need to work things out. So I craft because it balances me. Does that make sense? It's my crafting is my therapy. And so it's basically whatever I want to work on. So like it's getting warm now, so I like to do my painting and epoxy of my tables. So like it's warm, I can work on that. I have anything to make my space beautiful. Most of my crafting is definitely not for sale. It's more for gifting. And if my friends ask me, then I will do it. But it's not for sale. It's not something that like I'm doing this for money. I'm doing it for a peace of mind. So yeah, it's calming.
You said it's calming.
Mm-hmm.
And when did you start? When did you start crafting? Did you start crafting in Jamaica? Like in what different things? Like, my aunts, they know how to crochet and they know how to, like my mom grew up like learning, she knew how to sew. So she sewed my own clothes when I was a child and stuff like that. So tell us about your creative journey. That's a question that I asked people because you do a lot of different creative things.
Well, my grandfather was a shoemaker and my grandmother was a dressmaker. So as a little girl growing up, I was able, when they put that first, when you get the loss and you wrap the leather around it, and then you have to use a tacks to tack it onto the loss. I don't know if anyone has ever seen a pair of shoes being made, but I remember my grandfather used to have it on this thing and he would just let me hammer. And so I guess we started there. My grandmother used to sew and my grandmother used to cook. And my mom did the same. My mom, so I guess it was just a natural thing for me. What I enjoyed while I was in Jamaica is tie-dye. Girl, and tie-dye is back in. And
I know. Does it ever go out of style though?
But it's in hard now, girl. It's in hard. Like almost everything is being dyed. Combination between the bleaching and then the tie-dye. No, that is hot. Have you seen that?
What'd you say?
Bleaching and then the tie-dye.
The what? Bleaching?
Mm-hmm. Where you spray.
No. Oh, you spray bleach on the tie-dye.
No. So for me, who don't wear a salon, so half of my shirts are messed up anyway, right? Bleached out. So, which I haven't done it yet, and I think I will do it and share that with you. You would then put bleach on whatever out shirt, pants, whatever, and then you turn around and tie dye it because the bleach is going to remove the primary color that was there, and then you just add the different colors that you want. I think that is really funky. Yeah, I like that. I haven't done it yet, but
I'm gonna tell my daughter. I'm gonna tell my daughter about that because she loves to be cutting up some clothes now, and I had to tell her. You know what? I'm not even gonna tell you who. Like, so if anyone's listening, someone gave her a Ralph Lauren dress, and that girl cut it up. And I was like, Slay, I don't mind you cutting up stuff, but we can go to Goodwill and Salvation Army and to cut up some. You don't cut. You give that if you don't like that dress or it doesn't fit you, give it to somebody. You don't cut up.
But that didn't say she didn't like the dress. Why she cut it? She just tried to make it her own.
Right? Yeah, but those type of things you don't use a dress that you could give to somebody though.
Yeah, that is true, but at the time, so you just got to teach her, but hey.
I don't know. She went through a stage where she was just like, let me just cut everything up.
That's right. And upcycle. She made it her own. And that is wonderful. And that's her creativity, like right there. Take a sleeve off of this, put a dip, put flour.
All right. So we have an hour left and why don't we we have a
left.
I know. So we're gonna spice it up, and we're gonna talk about
1 hour, Nadine.
Huh? No, I told you it was 2 hours.
You see,
I told you. And then now you see, like Kay, you see Kay was, I know exactly. I was like, she's mad at me because she started saying my name American. Rose, you don't say my name correctly, but I don't correct you or anyone else, because to Americans say my name is Nadine, because I've always said my name is Nadine or Nadine. That's like how people in France or Jamaica or outside of America pronounce it. And then when I came here, I'm like, oh, my name is Nadine. And they're like, no, Nadine. I'm like, no, it's Nadine. They're like, Nadine. And so just said whatever, and that's why I introduced myself as Nadine. So Kay doesn't get a pass. So if you're Jamaican or Caribbean or, outside of America, you know how to say my name. And Kay just said Nadine because she's getting upset. So we're going to get her even more upset. And we're going to talk about what one of my little secret projects that I've been working on, which is, which I was going to call you about anyway. So we'll just like talk so people can see. I was saying about, my style creating is kind of all over the place. And so I've been wanting to have I say I'm Jamaican and all that kind of stuff, and it's kind of funny. And Jamaicans, they make fun of me and stuff like that. And so I've been wanting to have a creative outlet for myself, because I do a lot of things that, even though I am a creative, I do things creatively and I do art, still a lot of the work that I do is very, it's not that it's non-creative. It's just that it's very like I do writing. Like I'm writing a story for a national magazine on chowder, and I love chowder, and that's the part that the recipe testing and having my daughter taste stuff, and I have to do 5 recipes, so that's really fun, and talking to the chefs. But at the end of the day, I have to write a story, and I have to do recipes, which are a formula that I have to make sure that people can do, because if they don't and they score the recipes and they say like, look, how did they get this through recipe testing? So it's very technical, it's very creative, but a lot of things that I do are like today and this week, like after I get off the phone, I have to make sure I have all my descriptions ready for my June programming for Rose, which is late. It's stuff that is just not, in order to do the fun stuff, you have to do things that not necessarily, it's not that it's not fun, but it's like very tedious. So I have this side project called a couple years ago did you ever do the community leadership program?
Yeah. CLP?
Did you ever do it, Rose? Yeah.
No, I
Rose, have
believe
you
I
ever
have.
done the community? Okay. So it's a really cool program by the Groundstein Foundation. And well, Margaret and from Collab, Margaret and I'm like, who's the other person from Collab? Margaret and Caroline. And so I don't know if they like kind of like how it came about. Like they used to be at the Grove. I used to be at the Grove. And I guess like they bet me to do like 5 minutes of comedy at the CLP, our final thing. And so I did it. Huh?
Number?
I'm 23. What are you?
14.
Okay. So if anyone comes across like Rose, if whenever they do it again, I don't know if did they do it virtually last year? I don't know. It's like think that you do it in person. It's like once a month, and it's a retreat, and I call it a process-oriented leadership program. And I keep it vague because depending on your group really kind of depends on what you kind of focus on. It is about leadership, but it's process-oriented. It's not like you're straight ahead like, okay, leadership training. It's a lot of talking and working community and all of that. So, huh? Reflecting. Yeah. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It's really, like you meet really interesting people in New Haven. You meet leaders of all different types, like, because there's all different types of leaders. There's leaders that are bossy. There's leaders that are quiet. There's leaders who are connectors. There's leaders who are writers. So they always have a really good mix of people, and they have really interesting facilitators, and people stay connected afterwards. And it's like she's 14, I'm 23. There's all these people around New Haven that have done it. So it's like kind of like, not a fraternity, but like kind of like a thing that it's like, oh, did you do CLP in a way that you can connect with people? And there's another one called the New Haven Leadership Program that's run by the Community Foundation. That's also very good. Where the Community Foundation, have you done that one, Kay?
No.
Rose, have you done that one?
I have not done that one.
Yeah. So that's another one that's really good, where it takes all different types of community leaders, from executive directors of nonprofits to people who are on boards to, like people who do really great programming in their church. So, and they give you seed money to fund and support different types of projects. And so that's also a good one that people can look out for. And they're in the middle of a cohort right now. And they've given me money in order to support some of my ideas and share with it, and do community programming around food where I could offer it for free. And so that has also been really great. But the project that I'm talking about is the Caribbean, I don't know what I'm going to call it, like, musings of a Jamaican or whatever, but it's a Caribbean cooking cabaret. And so, Kay, are you coming back to see your face?
I'll talk to Rose first.
Huh?
I'll talk to Rose first. I'm like, Rose, why didn't you tell me? I'm sure. I'm just messing with you. Absolutely.
Oh.
Because you know how
pardon?
Thank you, but one of the things that I think that the Caribbean nationals need is like understanding that we're so I don't gear towards Indian food. But most of the Caribbean nationals, they like, like some of the islands, their curry is very pungent, like Trinidad.
Guyana,
right, Guyana. And who else? But anyway, so their curry is just a little bit pungent for me. So it would be nice if we gathered everybody and everybody cook the same thing, rice and peas, curry chicken or curry goat, and then we taste it, right? Because you have a lot of people have eaten Jamaican food, but a lot of Jamaicans have never had other people's food. You know what I'm saying? From the islands, because we don't have that much restaurants. We have some, in New Haven, we have some Haitian restaurant.
Where's the Haitian restaurant?
I think that is in Bridgeport.
Mm.
But that's again, see, where's the Haitian restaurant? Like, there's not enough of the other Caribbean nationals, so we can get to try other.
Well, then also, have you been to the roti place down? There's 2 roti places, it seems like, down around Congress Avenue. Have you been to them?
Yes, Miss Patty does the Caribbean Festival. Well, she did it 2 years ago when we did it.
And you like her roti?
I don't like roti. I like what's up short. Because I don't like the meat. I don't like the peas.
Oh, so for people who don't know what we're talking about, roti is like it's like an Indo-Caribbean burrito. And so the Indians came to the Caribbean via indentured servitude after slavery. And so that's one of the reasons why we have curry. And so depending on where you are in the Caribbean depends on like what your curry might taste like. So in Jamaica, the population is 97% people of African descent. Our motto is out of many, one people, but the people are mixed with people usually with African descent. So you have people who are Black and Chinese or Black and Indian, or they might have some Middle Eastern in them, but at the end of the day, they're like Black and African overrides everything in Jamaica. So in other places like Trinidad or Guyana or Suriname, they have larger populations of Indian people. And so in Trinidad, the population is 40% African derived people and 60% people who are Indian, so from Southeast Asia. And so that influences their culture and their food. So in Jamaica, we have curry goat, we have curry chicken. And I'd say most households have some curry dish once a week, if not a couple times a week. And I always say that I like, oh my God, we're gonna have curry again, you know, because you have it every week. And then you're like, you eat the curry and you're like, I want another plate of curry, you know, because the curry is always good. And then, you know, like I do that on soup day too. Okay, like growing up, I'm just like, damn. We have soup day. Soup day in Jamaica is on Saturday. So can you imagine like you're growing up in North America and you're like, I have soup on Saturday and it's just soup. Like if you have bread, that might be a lot. Okay, but it's just soup. So if you want to fill up yourself, they have dumplings in there.
Just so, because our soup have dumpling, yam, potato.
I'm saying that.
Bread. No, who needs bread when you have all of that tonight?
Exactly. You know, but you know, like when you're in North America, you're like soup on a Saturday is not what you're trying to eat. And I was never one, like we call the tubers in the soup, we call it food. That's what we call it. So, you know, yeah, or provisions. And so I wasn't one growing up that was really big on it, like yam and dasheen and cassava or whatever. And then dumplings, I only want one dumpling because if I have too many, it makes me very tired. And it just makes me, the food, I love my food, but it can make me very tired because it's food that was raised for us to work all day and all night. And we don't work all day and all night. So when you eat it, you want to go to sleep. And so I don't want to go to sleep, even though I love it. And so back to the curry chicken and stuff like that. And the soup. These are the things that
Johnson Day. So
pardon?
Thursdays is Ben Johnson Day. That's the day before we payday.
Oh.
Did you know about that one?
No.
Yeah, so Ben Johnson Day, basically it can be a sandwich, is whatever you had, because you know your money.
Okay. So like bully beef. So bully beef and hard
bully beef could be Sunday dinner too.
Oh.
For some people.
I never
some people.
Well, pardon?
For some people.
Right. So my family were they were farmers and fishermen. So my mom grew up on lobster, and she says, you know, here in America, everyone is like, lobster's a thing, like it's so expensive. There, my grandfather was a fisherman. So like shrimp, lobster, all these things that are expensive here, they could have plentiful. That was plentiful for them, you know, so. But, you know, if you were from Kingston or you grew up in the hills, you know, fish and shrimp and lobster is not going to be plentiful for you. So it really depends. There's some people who they've always had oxtail. There's some people that oxtail is a once in a year kind of thing because it's very expensive. So depending, and, you know, like my grandparents, they weren't rich by any stretch of the imagination, but they grew their own food. So that made it that they had maybe more things in the food department where other people might not have, because like, you live on an island, things are expensive, inflation, all that kind of stuff. But they, like my family at certain times, the only thing that they have to buy is like rice and maybe oil. But if coconuts are in season and stuff, they make their own coconut oil, and they make they kill a pig, they corn the ham, they do everything. They use every part of everything. They, herbs, they make fresh tea, they dry herbs for tea, they make, marinades. Like, I mean, they're making sure like nothing, when people talk about the sustainability, people all around the world that don't have cash and money, like they make sure that they are using every resource they have available to them. That's just a normal thing.
Right. So like growing up in Manchester, like for me, in the country parts, so like you have yam, so you can have boiled yam, roast yam. You know what I'm saying? You take yam and make cake. My brother makes.
You can fry yam.
You can fry over.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
You have, but I mean, it is what it is, right? It's just making sure that we eat and live off the land, and different ways to do different things. And so that's why it would be very interesting.
So like,
it'll be interesting to.
So my Caribbean.
Go ahead.
What'd you say? I think you froze a little bit, sweetheart.
No, I said it'll be interesting to get the Caribbean nationals together just to talk about what was it like on your island, So like you talking about your family living on the coastline. I have a client who's from Guyana, and that's the same thing she talked about, like, because she grew up on the coastline. So fish and all of those things was like a lot, like, hey, this is my norm, Having lobster for breakfast is a norm for her, right? And you have to have somebody else talk about their family was chicken farmers, but they never really eat meat. They ate a lot of chicken, So it will be very interesting to see how we all live on these different islands and how we use the foods. So it's like green banana. Jamaicans use green banana in, the only soup we use green banana in that I know about is manish water, right? You cut it up with the skin.
I put it in fish tea. I put it in fish tea too.
Right. Yeah. So that's two soups.
So fish tea is like, so fish tea. Oh, so fish tea, people, it's like when you use fish that you would usually throw back because it's too small, you use it to make a fish broth. And then you have like carrots, you have green banana, and green banana is not sweet. It's eaten as a starch. And then you have a thing called chocho that you might put in there, which is a squash that's similar like to zucchini, but it has very minimal ingredients. And the stock is made with this bony fish, and the bonier something is, usually the stock is really good. And so I love fish tea. It's one of the things that people drink in Jamaica by the roadside or by the ocean, and after work, like people they grab a beer and a fish tea before they go home to their family, and so it's one of those things that Jamaicans and Caribbean people, even though it's very hot, they love soup. They're very into their soup, especially after you party. You have soup all around, any different. And I don't know if they don't have soup in Puerto Rico. That's probably the only place that I didn't see soup. But everywhere else, like we're in Barbados, not Barbados. I've never been to Barbados, but the Bahamas, they have, conch soup. In Trinidad, they have corn soup. In Jamaica, they might have fish tea. They have cow foot soup. They have all different types of soup that they serve at the roadside and people drink. So I want to tell you about my Caribbean cabaret and my ideas. Mm-hmm. I have my cousin who's from St. Lucia. She's my mom's best friend's daughter. She's gonna probably be my host, and it was supposed to be just like stories of Jamaican. It's like gonna be about me, but then also the DJ is gonna be Trinidadian, and but it's gonna be focused because Jamaicans are the main island. but about like growing up Jamaican and the things that are funny. And so I want to start the beginning. And this is where I was going to contact you to be like, okay, where do I find Caribbean people who want to sing and be part of my Caribbean cabaret choir? And so, like when we go see Bears Hammond. So when you go to a Caribbean concert, so those people are in Connecticut and in New Haven specifically. When you go to Toad's Place, and Toad's Place is a very old establishment, but what I love about Toad's, and Toad's is famous around the world, it's like a place where, the Rolling Stones, they perform there. If they ever come to town, they might go there. Like a lot of people that perform in other places afterwards, they'll go to Toad's because they started in Toad's like decades ago. And a lot of artists have like a affection and I think a sense of nostalgia. And so Beres Hammonds is like the grandfather of like, or the living legend of reggae, so the living legend of reggae. And he's like our Smokey Robinson, the reggae Smokey Robinson. So he's intergenerational. Everyone knows his songs. And so when he comes to Toad's, I just love him because I haven't seen him in a year and a half. But I usually see him at Toad's, and I usually see him at Western University. What is that place called out there?
Oh God, I don't remember.
It's in Danbury, but it's a really nice like. They have an outdoor reggae festival, so it's really great, and he usually goes there also. And so, but what I love about going to Toad's is like he touches your hands. But before any reggae artist comes on the stage, there's the beginning with the DJ. And so the DJ, because, Jamaican people are notoriously late. So they're usually there for half an hour, 45 minutes. And so you're singing back and forth and like, it's a really fun time. So we're going to start the cabaret with like singing. So because we don't know who's going to be watching, because it's going to be a mixture of people from probably all around the world. But we need like 8 people that will be able to carry a note and be able to, sing the songs like, I'm in love with a man. I'm never in love with a man who's twice my age, but and those are things like the jokes, like I'm in love with a man who's half my age, and I have to write the different lyrics. So
it is, but it's a thing from my youthful days.
So this is what people from the Caribbean, when we go to a concert, like there's songs that we all know and we all sing together. And so does that seem like a fun time? Like, so the cooking cabaret is going to start with people going back and forth and the DJ doing that, like our typical songs. And then we have like different bits, like in a cabaret, it's around music or dance or comedy. And being that I can't dance, I don't really hold a note. Some people will call my comedy questionable depending on who's listening. So we're gonna have it's gonna be interactive. And so like one of the things that we're gonna do is hiss
I can't hear you.
Oh, one of the things that we're gonna do is hiss your teeth. Like, so the Star, so my cousin, we went to the Star, which is it's like the equivalent of the Post in New York. It's like very scandalous and sensational, kind of like Fox News. And not to say like that, there's nothing wrong with that, and so we said that I'm going to look at the different titles in the Star, because they have really outlandish titles of articles in newspaper. And then you're going to hiss your teeth, and we're going to do like a hiss your teeth timer to see who hisses their teeth for the longest time. So people don't know what hissing your teeth is. It's a thing that Jamaicans or Caribbean people do, and other people around the world do it too. I think it probably started from Africa, but it's like, how do you do it? So you can see like who does it longer. So you're like, it's like when someone says, what would you hiss your teeth to? You give an example, because mine are probably,
Foolishness.
I know, but give an example.
So an example, if somebody does something crazy, like day before ever running the stop sign out here, you're like,
you know.
is this just
But
crazy?
usually it's a little bit, huh?
It's a disgust expression.
Right. And then usually it's also like you just can't believe that someone did something, or if you're gonna get in trouble. Like if you're Caribbean and you've done something and you have made your parent upset, they're either hissing their teeth or they're gonna start speaking.
You used to get beatings for hissing your teeth.
No, you're not hissing your teeth, but your parent might be hissing your teeth. Like I'm not hissing my teeth too.
You back in the day, some people would get in trouble for hissing their teeth because it was.
I'm saying that I would never hiss my teeth to like my elders. I might do it in my head.
Even if they hear you.
I know, that's what I'm saying. But even though the eye look too, you know, and then so that's a section, and then my cousin's gonna leave like a whole dance section. So like doing the butterfly, the bogle, and different things, and then we're going to do like a whole like, you know, what does this mean? Like, you know, Caribbean sayings. So what are some sayings that are crazy? Okay. Huh?
Not crazy, but galang.
So do you want to translate that for someone?
So galang means go along.
It means bye, keep it moving, keep it pushing. So those are the things that, you know, like, and then having people try and say that in patois. So do you think that that is funny? Along with cooking, I'm going to show people how to cook something.
It can be. It depends on how long it's going to be.
So how long do you think it should be?
Girl, that's a lot of pressure you're going to put on me right then and there.
No, I'm just getting idea. Like this is the whole thing about co-create is like,
it depends, because if you have, it all depends. If you have somebody who can deliver the material, like who is really good punchline wise, you know, then it can be half an hour to an hour, because sometimes it can, you know, it can get lost in translation if it's too long.
Okay.
Especially because it depends on your audience, right? So it doesn't make sense for your audience to get lost, not really truly understanding what it is that you're saying. And you know what happened when we get together, when island people, well, I mean, it's anybody, because Italian and Italians get together, they go off in their own thing, right? So when we all speak in our native tongues, it can get someone left out, you know, and especially because if it's is it going to be live, or is it just going to be a Zoom? It's in person or Zoom?
Well, originally we thought it's going to be, originally I thought about being in person, but then, you know, COVID happened and I was like, oh, but then I saw one called Bollywood Kitchen where an Indian chef did a whole thing. It was an hour and a half and he showed people how to do like 3 different dishes, and his is more somber where he talked about himself and growing up and he showed clips from Bollywood, but I wanted to do more fun and interactive and, you know, moving and like more that's reflective of like Caribbean culture embodiment, you know, because I think that our culture, a lot of people, even if you go to the Caribbean, unless you know someone who is from the Caribbean, you don't really get to experience.
You don't get to have the full experience.
Yeah, you don't get the full experience. Like so many people, like they go and they're like, oh, I didn't really like Jamaica. And you're like, oh, why? And you're like, oh, where were you? And they didn't leave the
property.
They didn't leave the, you know, like the all inclusive. And it's like, of course you didn't, you're not gonna like Jamaica if you do it like that, you know? So you know, like I want to be able to, you know, teach people how to cook, but then have moments that are fun, because like in between cooking, like when you're, you know, waiting, if we decide to make rice and peas or something like that, there's a lot of time, you know, like with Caribbean cooking. And so
Depends on your dish, girl, and it depends on your dish.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, if we do it, and I think we're probably going to end up doing it in the fall. And so it was going to be a different dish if it's in the summer, then it's in the fall. And so I'll tell you when we decide. So we meet every week and we go through, they're helping me workshop it. So it's really fun.
No, it does sound like it's going to be fun. It really does. But I think you should do some fried dumpling because, you know, a lot of people don't know how to make fried dumpling.
Including myself. That's one of the worst things that I make.
Girl.
And I was going to say, you know, it's so funny that you brought that up because I saw, have you ever done a braided dumpling?
Girl, I can't make fried dumpling to save my life, but I do make a mean boiled dumpling.
Oh.
I cannot,
yeah.
I can't make a fried, like, my mother-in-law's fried dumpling is like heaven. I just can't get it. It's nice and soft and buttery.
That's how my mom does it. And it's crazy. Like my mom and my aunts, it doesn't make if they're making 1 dumpling or 50 dumplings or 200 dumplings. They're perfect every single time. And I'm like, how can you guys make like perfect dumplings? And then it's all like when you make dumplings, you have to knead the dough. And so the reason why my dumplings are not good is because because I don't really do a lot of doughy things. So I don't do it on a regular basis, but they've been making dumplings their whole life. And for so many people, because my mom, she grew up in a household with over 13 people at any given time. And so they always had to make a lot of dumplings, but I'm amazed at her consistency.
I can't make dumplings.
Her dumpling, she never makes a bad dumpling. And she doesn't burn them, you know, or anything. I'm like, damn, you're good.
Yeah, girl. And when you get somebody who can make some good dumpling, it's heaven.
Yeah, I'm never inclined to do a lot with baking because, you know, like eating a whole bunch of dumpling, that's a recipe for disaster.
So good.
You know, I told you I only need 1 dumpling because it's too much for me.
No, I like dumplings. Even when
I like them too, but I like bammy, I like breadfruit, I like other things better.
I can do without bammy. And you need to
bammy, you guys, is cassava, it's grated cassava, or yuca. You probably know it as yuca. And it is sour and it's poisonous, but they grate it and squeeze out those toxins and they make it into a cake and they dry it out. And it's one of those things that can last kind of indefinitely in the Caribbean. And when you're going to use it, you soak it in either milk or water and then you fry it. I love it. It kind of has a savory but slightly sweet taste depending on the cassava. And you know, anything that's fried always tastes good usually.
I know, right? Yeah, but can't you do anything else with it? You can steam it.
Yeah, I don't know. I've had it once done really badly by my friends, and she didn't fry it, and it crispy, and it was just like so gross.
Yeah,
you know.
You can steam it with fish.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you know when you're doing like you know the steamed fish, just you can put it into the stew, the gravy, the sauce, whatever you want to call it.
Do you like that?
Me? No, I'm not a steamed fish person. I like my fish fried with something, you know.
Oh, I like steamed fish. My mom makes steamed fish really well. I'm going to put the I have to go ask my daughter for the charger. I forgot to bring it down. I'm sorry. And it got drained. It was at 100%, but so I'm going to turn off the volume so I can yell upstairs to her.
Okay.
And people don't hear me. All right. I'll be right back in 2 seconds.
So Rose.
Yep.
Added some other colors.
Got some more flowers now. It's nice.
Trying to make it just a little. It was too pinky.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to, you know,
Yeah.
play with it a little bit. Play with it.
Do you have an idea of what you want to put in the big white spot?
No.
No, not yet.
I actually was thinking, so lazy. I was just thinking of just getting some alcohol paint and just, you know, have it run down.
Okay.
So, because then, you know, like, I don't know. I'll leave it up for my customers. Like, tell me what you want up there, and have a little competition, I guess. See which one of them words win.
So what word are you thinking about right now?
Putting out the alcohol ink and just have it drain on it.
Okay.
So we'll see. We will see. You know, diamond.
I have my charger. Are you going anywhere for the summer, Kay?
No. I'm staying local. Yeah, I'm staying local.
I'm looking forward to when farms are doing pick your own fruit again.
Oh, when is
Where?
that?
Pick your own fruit usually starts in June, like when the berries start becoming available.
Yeah, I can't wait to get some strawberries, and I love strawberry and rhubarb. I like strawberry and rhubarb.
You like strawberry
things do you
rhubarb
like
pie?
I really love to make chutney. I like pie, but when I make sweet things, I just want one slice of something and then I'm over it. I'm more a straight savory person than a sweet person. So I love chutney to eat with cheese, and you know, like rhubarb and strawberry chutney tastes really good with like grilled pork chops or chicken, or you know, stuff like that. So I like making that. I just that got off of on Facebook. Someone was giving away, they want to barter mushrooms, and I gave them ramp vinegar and magnolia vinegar. Magnolia vinegar tastes like magnolias have essence of ginger to them, and ramps are in the allium family, so they taste like leeks. And but they Rose did the whole sporing thing with the mushrooms and wood chips.
Oh, they
And
grow their own mushrooms?
yeah, on their front lawn in Hamden, right in Whitneyville.
Okay, what kind of mushrooms was it?
They're kind of like shiitake. He said I should cook them on high heat. He stir fries them, so forth and so on. So he gave me a bag of them, so they're cool.
Wow. That sounds interesting.
Yeah. Kay and I barter. We barter food. She gives me she used to give me some seeds by please, like callaloo seeds. Callaloo is Jamaican spinach. It's delicious. It's probably my favorite green, actually. And I've never grown it. I love it because you can grow it and then you can cut it down 3 times at least, and it comes back. And I call it, like, it's kind of like a butter spinach. It kind of, don't you feel like it has a buttery feel to it? A buttery spinach has that kind of, can have a kind of grittiness to it. Callaloo has a smoothness to it, and it's delicious. And so Kay is nice enough. She grows callaloo and she gives me some.
That's me. Mama.
Oh. Mama Yvonne grows the callaloo.
That's right.
And and then Kay brings it by, and then Kay also does stuff like she brings by cornmeal pudding. These are some kind of old-fashioned desserts, but they're delicious. And I don't really know how to make them, even though I made them with my aunts growing up. I never made them by myself, but they're old-fashioned, like puddings in general, like, like New England puddings and stuff like that. Those are old-fashioned things, but they're delicious. And they kind of take a facility, I feel, to be able to make, don't you think?
Yeah.
It's not easy like a regular cake.
It's pretty easy. Just rub in the cornmeal and season it up and put it in the thing.
But to make it nice and dense,
it's flat.
It's flat, and there's a creaminess.
Custard on top.
And then you have to have a custard on top. So she's trying to make it seem like it's easy. It's not, and Jamaicans are very okay with giving their criticism. So there's certain things I'm not going to make for my family. I only make things I know I can do well. And I don't make things that I know that my aunts can make better than me. So that would be like something I've never made, but I do want to learn how to make it because I like cornmeal pudding. It's not something that I'm going to eat on a regular, and it's very dense. So she, brought a piece that I could share with my mom and everything. And I have traded her, we put aside raisins and dried fruits in rum. So a couple years ago, I made like so much. I still have a lot, but I gave her a big bottle. Did I give it to you in a bottle or a bag?
No, a bottle.
I gave it to her in a bottle so she could make rum cake, or we call it black cake.
But I don't make that because actually I have yet to make one. But I use it in bread pudding.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's great to make a bread pudding. Last year, I did some recipe testing with it because I don't really make black cake. You only make it once a year. And I have only made it once really myself without making it again, where I'm my aunt's sous chef. Because I feel like, those baking things are really, they're not easy. But I have used the rum and fruit, and they usually have nuts, and it's all ground up. And what preserves it while you can have it for years and years is that alcohol preserves it. And you want it to be, it's like sourdough, you want it to be percolating and from a good source. And as long as it's covered, and what I gave her,
And you keep wetting it.
You keep on wetting it and making sure that there's rum. It's not gonna have any bacteria.
It's wine.
Yeah. And so I make a thing with roasted or grilled plantain, and I mix it with butter, and I put that on there and a little sugar. It's so good. My family loves it. I made it a couple times. I'm gonna write it down in a recipe, but I want to sell it so I get paid to share.
But it sounds good though.
And then I also made a drink last year for the Boston Jerk Festival. I don't know what I called it. I do have that recipe. That recipe is out there, but I made it with, I think, coconut milk and obviously rum. I think you know what I called it? I called it a rum dream. That's what, because we have a rum cream. So I called it a rum dream. That's what I called it. So it's really good. You don't drink, but you'll eat the fruit and the whatever with rum in it.
Yeah, but it's not a lot. So I think drinking, I don't drink rum cream. This is too much rum.
But you can't drink a lot of rum cream because it's too thick. It's like Tia Maria or Kahlua. Yes. I don't know if people, get toasted on Kahlua because it's just too much cream. It's supposed to be, it's like a after dinner drink. That's how you're supposed to drink it. You're supposed to have a little bit of it, not a lot.
Now we don't know what a little bit means.
Well, it's not like it's like Ray and Nephew rum.
But if we Jamaicans, we gonna use that or rum bar
Mm.
because it, you know what I'm saying, it's stronger. So again, I guess it depends on who you eat, who you're getting it from, and the potency of the rum that they're gonna use. You know, because you know anybody coming from Jamaica, we say, bring me a bottle of rum, bring me, you know what I'm saying, and then we get our rums come up. So we get our rums from home, the real rum.
How do you apply your creativity to your business?
I'm trying to see. How do I apply it? All around, so we happy. It's all around. Can I? How can I show you my salon?
She has a beautiful salon. If you ever have a chance to go, and she's a great stylist.
Okay, so this is.
And why don't you also talk about that neighborhood that's in transition?
Wow. So this is my my windowsill with all my beautiful plants, and usually I have something. Can you see? So like this is a croton. I've had her for like over 20 years.
Oh,
And
Lord.
yes, honey. And she was a little thing then when I got her. And so I try to have stuff that reminds me of home. So I keep all my stuff. See this pot? That's a wooden pot. So every time you water it,
Nice.
she marks. And of course, you know, you see the green, yellow, and black. So yeah. And then now my other stuff, like that's painted furniture that I did. I painted the wall, my HK and my woman over there. And then that's some of the things that I've done. Yeah.
And too bad you can't see her wreaths, but her wreaths are beautiful. And they're all different types of shapes and themes. And they're really gorgeous. And you've done like these painted tables that are really nice.
I don't have any here.
Yeah, she showed that one, but she does these round ones that have different designs that are really beautiful and really expressive. So I saw that you went down. Yeah, thanks for inviting me to New York to your friend's restaurant. How was that? You want to talk about that?
Simpson?
Yes.
It was amazing. It was Mother's Day. So I mean, hey. It was just the members of the organization and a few of the supporters of the organization that went. So the Simpson was started by a very good friend of mine, who was the executive chef at BB King's and then Sony Hall. And then he opened up January 15th on Atlantic Avenue in Brooklyn. So it's a restaurant with infused with Jamaican culture. So he has like oxtail and macaroni and cheese. You can get, oh my God, what other things? There's just so much, right? But that's some of the things I like. Oxtail and macaroni and cheese, like for real, like, you know, that kind of thing. He does this coconut spinach rice. Girl, to die for. That's one of my favorite rice that he prepares. But yeah, it was really nice. I'm very proud of him. That means he can't come up. I can't get him to come up here and do stuff for me anymore.
Oh, why? He's too busy?
Now he's too busy. So.
Well, that's a really big space. I hope he does well. It's right near Barclays and stuff like that. And so what do you have planned for, you said you have the festival, and then do you want me to do a Caribbean cooking class in June? We talked about it. A Caribbean cooking class in June.
Oh, we could do that. We could. Absolutely. Where are we going to do it?
I usually do my cooking classes at this place called Tiny Forest. Do you want me to do it somewhere in New Haven? Is there somewhere?
I have no idea. You know all the kitchens. I don't know.
There's not a lot of kitchens that are available. That's the thing.
Right. Where is Tiny?
It's in Milford.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's Because I mean, I don't know. I'm not, you the foodie. So you lead, I follow. So it's just a matter of, as long as we can do it in June Caribbean Heritage Month, that's not a problem.
Okay.
You just gotta let me know, girl, what you want me to do, and I'll make myself available. Okay.
Yep. It is. We have 8 minutes, so we'll wind down. Just reiterate how people can find you and what you're looking for. Do you need any help for the festival? Reiterate what day and time, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff.
So the salon is at the infamous Cardinals bar. Was it Cardinals Cafe at the corner of Henry and Ashman Street? I always thought that they should have made this into a landmark, but anyway.
Wait, but I didn't even know about Cardinals Bar. Like, I lived on West Ivy Street, and I knew about the Taurus, which I only went to once because I had to jump down to the floor, and I said I'm never going back ever again. And the Knickerbocker Club, but I didn't know about the Cardinal, even though that's a little further down from my house. Like, but what was that?
So it was a community bar. It's a community hangout. They had a baseball team. They had a bus that would transport their baseball team to play their games. I've never been in the Cardinals, but I do know that it is a landmark. It's here in the, sits on New Hallville and Dixwell at that Munson Triangle. And I just think that it didn't get the credit that it deserved, because this was, a part of a community, So the salon is the actual bar, from what my clients or people have told me. And then through the bathroom would be into where they would have like another room where it was a pool table and people, and all of that. So it was like a real community, but now it's an apartment complex and I'm the only retail on the first floor. So it's to me, it's an honor being here, considering that the community is changing. And so whenever, someone comes in, because there's a lot of grad students that live on this building. So when they would come and introduce themselves, I would also like to let them know that this was, the Cardinals. So yeah. And then I get to look out this beautiful window and I look directly at Winchester Gun Factory, which is another part of New Haven's history that is, to me, is not highlighted enough. Like in this community, between Winchester created that middle class, for the Black community. And, yeah.
If people don't know about Winchester, they're lofts right now, but they used to make guns. And so it was a place where, I think originally Italians lived in that neighborhood. Is that correct?
Oh, I don't know much of the history. I just know when I came
So
here.
yeah, so I think that they had like Italian and maybe Irish immigrants that originally lived in New Hallville. And so all those structures that were built there, those 3-story homes and multifamilies, were built for the workers of Winchester Arms. And I think it was in the 50s or 60s, it changed over from predominantly white neighborhood to a Black neighborhood. And for many Black people, working at the factory was a stable job and a way into the middle class. And so, yeah, my family moved to West Ivy Street in the 80s. And so it was very different then. And now it's going through, some might say Renaissance, some might say gentrification. Like there's a lot of things going on because you have Lower Dixwell that's being redeveloped by Concat, which is a Black led organization. And then you have like the new Q house that's happening on Lower. Dixwell, but there's a lot of concerns because it's close to Yale and Payne Whitney that it's going to displace people. And so where Kay's shop is right at the Nexus. And so what's that coffee shop called?
Fussy?
Fussy Coffee. They're there. They have really good coffee and, you know, food. And there's the Winchester Lofts. There's Concat that's over there also that offers food, and they train people that might not be able to get training in phlebotomy and cooking and other things. They also provide after school programming and pardon? Summer programs. Yeah, summer programs for kids in the area. And they are developing where the Stetson Library and Lower Dixwell, they're developing that whole property. I don't know what the final plans are because they're in the process of getting feedback from the community and all that kind of stuff. But it's gonna be interesting to see like how that neighborhood transforms.
Yeah.
And yeah, so next week I have a program called Fundraising is Friendraising. And then in June we'll be doing creating art and at the library downtown on their veranda / deck / porch. I don't know what you want to call it, Rose.
It's the patio over by the cafe.
The patio, the library patio.
Mm-hmm.
So we will be doing that. And I will be winding down my residency. And I'll try not to cry. All right. So thank you for joining us. Thank you, Kay. Are you going to put on the camera before we leave to say goodbye?
Oh, it's on.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay. So you know what? Because it goes to you, Rose, and you're not on. So that's why. Yes, I just assumed. Here I am. So, all right. Thank you.
Thanks, Rose.
Thank you for joining us.
I look forward, Kay, to getting some goodies. I'm due for some goodies now.
Yes.
I'll share some too.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Have a nice evening, everyone.
Talk to you tomorrow, Rose. I'll connect up with all the things I owe you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.